Okay. Yeah. Good evening. People online also. Good evening. Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, last evening for this series and finishing the book. The book. 2 years. It's quite amazing. Yeah. And most of you are pretty stable in attending, and a few people, following the recording. So that's pretty good, no? Very amazing to do some in-depth kind of traditional study of the middle way. Very important. For us to eventually realize emptiness and put imprints of the grounds and paths as well, right? In the Madhyamaka. So for the last session also make sure we have the correct motivation, that we engage in these practices for quick enlightenment and quick progress on the paths without any obstacles, and to do that in order to really help suffering sentient beings, right? So generate the correct motivation for yourself. And then imagine in front Sakyamuni Buddha, right, surrounded by the lineages of method and wisdom. And then surround yourself countless sentient beings undergoing the suffering of the individual realms and the suffering of samsara in general, summarized in the all pervasive compounded form of suffering. And think you're going to lead them beyond that, and by that you lead them in the praise. So based on that, recite the praise.
To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata and knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata and knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata and knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides and then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies, formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Saviour, having great compassion, and the Founder, having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. the purity that frees one from attachment, and the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies our prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all three ever devout homage, to all worthy of respect, bowing with body as many as all realms, atoms in all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly, this is the teachings of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the foe false, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death.
I prostrate to
the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Bhagavan was dwelling on a mass of Vultus mountain in Rajagriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time the Bhagavan was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound perception. Also at that time the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, and beheld those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara: how should any son of a lineage train who wishes to practice the activities of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of a lineage or daughter of a lineage who wishes to practice the activities of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra, the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra, the perfection of wisdom, is declared: Tayata gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhisoha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying: well said, son of a lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated, even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Bhagavan, having thus spoken, and the Venerable Shariputra and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara and those surrounding in their entirety, along with the worlds of gods, humans, asuras, and Gadavas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan.
Straight together
the Dakinis and the three chakras who abide in the holy yoga of using space, by her powers of clairvoyance and magical emanations, look after a practitioner like a mother her child. Parasamgati bodhisoha. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing the power of truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be pacified. May all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from problems and harmful conditions to the Dharma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma, and may there be auspiciousness and perfect happiness here, right now. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfect, pure Guru. Correct devotion to the Guru is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon the Guru with great respect. Please bless me to rely upon the Guru with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. This life is impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of black and white karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Seeking samsaric pleasures is a door to all suffering. They are uncertain and cannot be relied upon. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate the strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Please bless me to generate the strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all other migratory beings. Please bless me to see this and train in supreme bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Please bless me to see this and train in supreme bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop only bodhicitta, but I don't practice the three types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I have pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. Please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages and the essence of the Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy and never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, may never be separated from perfect Gurus. May I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of a stage in the path, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. May I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Sajibuki Joshimeto Tramriralenji Nindegyam Padi Sangeshindu Miteuai Drokunam Dashinla Chubasho Jesun Lama Dampakenam Kichukukala Gense Chuzintri Jita Sampe Duje Zavge Chuki Chapa Wabtu Soidam Guru Rana Mandala Kamne Ratayame
Sangye
Churan Sangye Chanam La Janju Badu Tani Gapsuchi Dagi Chinen Gipe Sonam Ki Chola Penji Sangye Drupasho
Sangye
Churan Sangye Chanam La Janju Badu Tani Gapsuchi Dagi Chinen Gipe Sonam Ki Chola Penji Sangye Drupasho
Sangye
Churan Sangye Chanam La Janju Badu Tani Gapsuchi Dagi Chinen Gipe Sonam Ki Chola Penji Sangye Drupasho
Yeah, so start with another text by a quote by Arya Nagarjuna, and well, in praise of the Dhammadhatu. Yeah, so we know Nagarjuna wrote various praises about your mind, Dhammadhatu, the word transcendent, and honoring sentient beings, right? Yeah. So here it says, when that which forms the cause of all samsara is purified along the stages of the path. Yes, we discussed the various bhumis. Yeah. This purity itself is nirvana. Yeah. So in our case, non-abiding nirvana. And precisely this, the Dharmakaya too. Yeah. So as we know, the Buddha potential of the ultimate aspect of the emptiness of nature of mind, and the most subtle aspect of the mind itself, and that is free of stains, as we know, yeah, and that develops later on into the like that. Then they hear me eating something. It's a big one. I was a bit. Anyway, it's for the cough. It was a bit big. Yeah. So yeah, that means that we have this purity. Yeah, we have two purities in the Dharmakaya, as we discussed before, right? The natural purity and the adventitious purity. Yeah. So the natural purity is then referring to, from the Sutra perspective, right? The Buddha potential by nature, and the adventitious, be separate from adventitious aspects. That purity is then referring to Buddha potential that has to be developed. Yeah, we know in the Dharmakaya we have those two aspects, the two purities. You know, purity by nature and adventitious, being free of adventitious aspects, and that's kind of how do you call that? Adventitious purity. Yeah, and that relates to the two Buddha potentials, Buddha potential by nature, and Buddha potential has to be developed. So that's what it says here, right? When that which forms the cause of all samsara is purified. Yeah, so that the adventitious aspect, and the purity itself, is nirvana, or precisely this, the Dharmakaya too. Yeah, so that means that the purity by nature, because the nirvana in the Prasangika school, nirvana is the absence of afflictions, but not just the absence of afflictions. The mind being empty of inherent existence. Yeah, the emptiness of inherent existence of the mind that is free of afflictions and their seeds. That's what we call nirvana. Yeah, in the Prasangika school we say cessation is an ultimate truth. Yeah, because it refers to the emptiness of the mind that is free of afflictions and their seeds. Yeah. Yeah. So and in the Dharmakaya then it refers to the two purities, and that refers to the two Buddha potentials, right? It has to be developed, and that by nature. Yeah, because what has to be developed is eliminating the adventitious ones, and that by nature is already there. Yeah, the emptiness of our mind and emptiness of the mind of the Buddha is exactly the same. Yeah. So then in relation with that verse, then where do we go? Then we go here. Yeah, so we only have a few verses left. Yeah, perfectly on schedule. So where are we? Today is 19 November. Yeah. So we in verse 41, right? Yeah. So last week we talked about the 10 powers, right? The uncommon aspects of Buddhahood, yeah, mainly relation with the omniscient aspects of knowing karma, yeah. And that's just very important to understand that, that is needed if you want to benefit beings. You have to understand every inside out of karma. Yeah, otherwise, how can you really benefit others if you don't know the actual reasons and predispositions and what people have done in previous lifetimes? So yeah, that kind of omniscient mind is really needed, right? Yeah. So then the next few verses, yeah, talks about inexpressible qualities, yeah, the next two verses, verse 41 and 42, yeah, that in a similar way, inexpressible, we cannot comprehend or we cannot put in words, yeah. So similarly, we have in the direct perception of emptiness, yeah, also we cannot really express in words, yeah, that is inexpressible and also, yeah, inexpressible kind of aspect that we cannot put in words or conceptualizations. Yeah, so certain traditions or certain scholars of the past in Tibet, they refer to emptiness in general as inexpressible. Yeah, then it's being referred to from the point of view of the subject realizing emptiness. Yeah, then in particular direct perception of emptiness. Yeah, so in the Gelug tradition, we don't say that emptiness by itself is inexpressible, but the direct perception of emptiness, yes. Yeah, so in the Gelug we make a distinction between, Lama Tsongkhapas make a very clear distinction between the object, emptiness, and the mind that realizes emptiness, or the experience of emptiness. Yeah. And the object, emptiness, yeah, you have to start to understand it, because initially you have to realize it in a conceptual manner. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, when it comes to Dhammakaya, or yes, this nature of having the two purities, yeah, so the wisdom truth body of the Buddha, which is free of all stains, of adventitious stains, and is empty of ignorant existence. Yeah, so that wisdom truth body we cannot really realize. Yeah, we can't understand. Similarly, that the emptiness of the mind of the Buddha that is free of all stains, also we cannot really realize. Yeah, so that means that for all those who are not Buddhist, inexpressible, right, in Dhammakaya. Here, similarly, in verse 41, birds do not stop flying because there is no more sky. Yeah, there's always sky to fly. It's not that they fly and then stop because there's no sky and then they fall down and have to get up again. They do so when they have exhausted their strength. Yeah. Likewise, Shravakas and the like, as well as Bodhisattvas, cease declaring the Buddha's qualities. Yeah, so cease declaring the Buddha's qualities, yeah, because it's infinite as space. So you cannot really express it. Yeah, the Buddha's qualities. Yeah, we talk about, the various, like the 10 powers, and we can go a little bit idea, but completely understand the Buddha's qualities is inexpressible, right? Yeah. Therefore, how could someone like me, yeah, referring to Chandakirti, know and speak of the Buddha's qualities? Yeah, we can give we have in the 8th chapter of the Abhishamalankara, for example, in the 8th chapter of Abhishamalankara, it lists all the qualities, yeah, of the major and minor marks and body, speech and mind qualities of the Buddha. But it's just an interpretation, right? We cannot really completely understand those qualities. They're beyond concepts. Yeah. Nonetheless, since the noble Nagarjuna has described them, yeah, so this is the commentary on Nagarjuna's fundamental wisdom. I have spoken briefly, setting hesitation aside. Yeah, so that Chandrakirti also talked about in the what we did the previous week, right? The 10 powers, for example. Then it talks about the verse 43, twin qualities or two aspects. Yeah, the emptiness is the profound, and the other qualities are the vast. Yeah, we know the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras has two aspects, right? The profound aspect of emptiness and the hidden meaning of the vast aspects of the realization of the paths, right? So emptiness is the profound and other qualities the vast. By understanding the profound and vast, these twin qualities are obtained to the full extent. Yeah, sometimes we refer to the 11th ground. Yeah, so if you refer to 11th ground, then that refers to the ground of the Buddha, right? Which is not really Bodhisattva ground anymore. Yeah, because the person is a Buddha. Yeah, but sometimes you see that in texts, 11 grounds. Because until including the 10 grounds is still a sentient being. Yeah, it's still a Bodhisattva. And then after the last uninterrupted part, and that develops and eliminating the last obscurations and becomes a Buddha. Yeah. And then, that we know the Dharmakaya is not enough. The Buddha needs form bodies, as we talked about before, enjoyment bodies and emanation bodies. So here, verse 44 talks about the emanation body. Yeah, once more, you who possess an unchanging body appear in the three worlds. Yeah. Unchanging body appear in the three worlds. Yeah. So the Dharmakaya is unchangeable, but then of course the various emanation bodies, they have various aspects. Yeah. Through emanation, you show coming birth, enlightenment, and turning the wheel of peace. Yeah, so the Buddha came to the planet Earth, showed the aspect of the 12 deeds, including birth, enlightenment, and teaching the Dharma. And all beings indulging in devious behavior and shared in a network of expectations, you led him with compassion to the state beyond sorrow. Yeah, by the various emanation bodies, the Buddha led sentient beings to the state beyond sorrow. Yeah, that means liberation and enlightenment. Then there are three verses regarding 45, 46, 47, regarding the vehicles. Yeah, we know in the Vaibhasika school and the Sautantrika school, they believe there are three ultimate vehicles, as they say. Yeah, so same as the true aspectarians in the Chittamatra. Yeah, the true aspectarians in the mind-only school and the Vaibhasika and Sautantrika schools, they believe in three ultimate vehicles. That means you enter one vehicle and you will achieve the goal of that vehicle without going to another vehicle. Yeah, so once you go into the Sravakayana, you will not go to the Pratyekayana or the Bodhisattvayana. Yeah, you just enter that vehicle, you accomplish the goal, and that's it. There's no way you can go in another vehicle. Yeah, so that's kind of an aspect, and interpretation of the true aspectarians of the mind-only school, Vaibhasika, and the Sutra school. Also, they say that when you achieve liberation, the continuity stops. The continuity of the person stops. There's only a mere absence of afflictions left. Yeah, and some call that then this is kind of a non-associated compositional factor because it is related with the continuity of the person. So there's various interpretations. Yeah, according to the true aspectarians, mind only, and the Vaibhasika and Sautantrika. Why do they say that? Because if you achieve nirvana, there's no cause for rebirth anymore. Yeah, so the continuity stops, they say. Yeah, you cannot be reborn anymore. There's no cause for rebirth. Yeah, so what is then left? That's a big debate. Yeah, in one way it makes sense what they're saying, that you don't are reborn anymore. There's no cause for rebirth. So in that way the person stops. But what it actually means is the contaminated aspect of the person stops. Yeah, the uncontaminated aspect remains, right? That they meditate on or are in meditative absorption into emptiness, and then that's the person. Yeah, the mere person realizing emptiness directly and being in absorption. If you achieve we talk about here the nirvana without remainder, right? We have two nirvanas. Yeah, we have nirvana with remainder and nirvana without remainder. According to the Yogacarya Svatandika and below, they say the nirvana with remainder, meaning you're not liberated yet and you're born. Yeah, you may be on the path of seeing or meditation, and you're reborn, and then is your last life. Yeah, and then you achieve the state of an arat, let's say when you're 50 something. So then the remaining years you have nirvana with remainder, because the body was created is a propelling aspect of the previous lifetime. Because in the Sravaka and the Pratyekayana, all learners, as we say, all those on the path who are not liberated yet, they're all born by the power of karma and afflictions. Yeah. Yeah, so with the Bodhisattva is different, as we know. Yeah. So then that last lifetime, then that physical aggregate is contaminated because the cause is contaminated. Yeah, it is propelled from a previous lifetime. So then we call that with remainder. So what's remaining, there is the truth of suffering remaining. Because the contaminated aggregates are in the nature of the truth of suffering. And then you can debate and say, oh, do they have suffering then? And I say, no. And then you say, yes, because they have the truth of suffering. Then I say, no pervasion. Yeah, because there's a little debate what you can do. Yeah, so they have the truth of suffering. That means that they don't have the truth of suffering. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Their body is in the nature of the truth of suffering. Yeah, because it's being propelled by karma and afflictions. Yeah, but they don't have suffering anymore because they have abandoned afflictions and their seeds, right? Yeah. So then having that contaminated body still, that means they have a remainder. Yeah, so we call that nirvana with remainder in the autonomy school and below. Then when they die and then they go to nirvana without remainder, that means they leave this body behind, and then there's only non-contaminated continuity of the person left, right? Yeah. And then they go to abiding nirvana, as we call that, right? In the Prasangika school, we have a slightly different interpretation for with and without remainder. It's just the distinction between meditative absorption and emptiness or not. Yeah, so that was meditative absorption and emptiness is without remainder, makes sense, because it's a non-contaminated mind. And then coming out of that meditative absorption or emptiness, that's remainder, yeah, because then things appear inherent. Yeah, so that's just in the Prasangika view, there's just a slightly different interpretation with and without remainder. Yeah. But the main thing to understand is that the true aspectarians in the mind-only school, yeah, that sub-school, and the Vaibhasika and the Sautrantrika, they say that there's three ultimate vehicles. Yeah, that means that when you enter one, you will accomplish the results of that without going somewhere else. Why is that, they say? Because since the beginner's lifetime, different people have different predispositions and different intellects and different interests, and that's why they go into one vehicle and that's it. Yeah, well, we know in the other mind-only school, right, the false expertarians and the Yogacaryas, the Svatantika school, the Svatantika Madhyamaka, and the Prasangika, they say there's one ultimate vehicle, meaning all beings will eventually achieve enlightenment and will enter the Bodhisattva yana. Yeah. So yeah, that enter the Bodhisattva yana happens only after having achieved liberation. Once you're on the Sravakayana, you're not halfway to most likely go to the Bodhisattva yana, because you have an initiation and that is uncontrived, so you want to go straight to liberation, right? Yeah. So that's these three verses talk about having this ultimate one ultimate vehicle, meaning all beings, sentient beings, will eventually, even if you have achieved liberation, eventually enter the Bodhisattva yana to achieve Buddhahood, right? Yeah. Yeah, so in verse 45 there it says, no other means to dispel all the stains exist apart from the knowledge of suchness. Yeah, so here the suchness of phenomena admits of no differentiation. Yeah, so here, as we talked about before, the prasangika unique interpretation of the root of samsara, yeah, which is adherence at inherent existence, or adherence to inherent existence, yeah, which has two, right, persons and phenomena. Yeah, so in the prasangika, we say the root of samsara is adherence to inherent existence. Yeah, so that's kind of in order to get liberated from samsara, you have to realize emptiness. Otherwise, you cannot be liberated because you cannot eliminate all afflictions. Yes, we talked about quite a few times before. Although you might have realized the emptiness of a self-sufficient, subsistent, existing self, you can still grasp at consciousness inherent, and because of that, you can still create a craving for samsara, and that propels or activates karma of the past, and you be reborn again in samsara, right? Yeah. So, what did I say? Yeah. And the subject, the mind that knows, it is likewise undifferentiated. Thus the Buddha taught to us beings a single unmatched vehicle. Yeah, there's only one ultimate vehicle, and that means the bodhisattvayana, that the other vehicles exist, of course, but everybody will eventually enter the bodhisattvayana. Yeah, so the Sravaka Arhats will enter the bodhisattvayana and will go quite quick because it already has a direct perception of emptiness, right? But then on the part of accumulation and preparation, it accumulates merit, yeah, because it doesn't have to accumulate it doesn't have to prepare for a direct perception of emptiness because it's already been realized, but it still has to do the accumulation of merit, yeah. And then it enters the part of seeing, and then it goes quite quick, and then still over the first 7 bhumis, it's already liberated, so yeah, you think, oh, so then it shoots straight to bhumi number 8, but still it has to accumulate the various perfections, right? So it goes over the 7 bhumis, and then yeah, so then goes to the 8, 9, 10, and then gaza, yeah, 8, 9, 10, yeah, 3. So then you can debate like he can debate yeah, whatever is in bodhisattva on the 7 impure bhumis, because what does it mean, impure bhumi? You are not liberated yet, and the 3 pure bhumis means you are liberated. Yeah, so you can debate, is whatever bodhisattva on the first 7 bhumis necessarily not liberated? Yeah, and then you can say that is not the case because you have arhats who enter there and who are already liberated, right? Yeah. But yeah, eventually there's only one vehicle, yeah, that all beings will enter the bodhisattvayana to achieve enlightenment. So, long as degenerations and entering faults are present in sentient beings, verse 46, yeah, they will not enter the profound truth, the realm of a Buddha's experience. And so the Sugata, with his knowledge and compassion, skillful means has taken the pledge, proclaiming sentient beings are all free. Yeah, eventually. Yeah, we talked about those who are not liberated to liberate. There's also one verse we recite when we take certain vows, right? So it means that those who, yeah, there's always 3 aspects there. As we saw those who did the Tuesdays in the beginning of Arya Nagarjuna's text, also that came up. Yeah, that the one you free those not free, you means you free them from the lower realms, yeah, and then you liberate and not liberated those beings who are not liberated. You liberate and then pass beyond sorrow in the sense that you liberate those who are liberated by abiding nirvana. You bring them to full liberation of non-abiding nirvana. Right? It's those 3 levels. Yeah. So that's what the Buddha engages in. Then, therefore, in verse 47, just as a wise captain. Is it our doorbell? That's a nice one. Yeah. Just as the wise captain conjures imagine of beautiful towns, to relieve frustrations of travel's journey in an island of gems. Yeah, so you set forth vehicles to help smooth the minds of disciples. Yeah, so it's kind of you spoke differently to those minds who are trained in order absence. So that refers to a temporary release. Yeah, if people are completely want to be liberated from samsara, and then there's somebody there, I think. There's somebody there, no? Huh? Ale? So that means that those who want to achieve liberation, the Buddha gave them a temporary relief, yeah, an island halfway through. Yeah, if you have to go from the US to Gaza or UK to where do we go? Where's an island in between? Not really, is it?
Between here and the US.
Greenland, right? Yeah. Yeah. So then you find it too far, so you go by boat, and to go to the US straight is a bit too much. So then you stop and relax in Greenland, right? Is halfway through.
I think that would be kind of a very strange route.
Like that, yeah. But you know what I mean, right? If you want to go to a far away country, and there's halfway through an island, and you can rest because on the boat, your legs always you go like this, and then so yeah, you know what I mean, right? Yeah. So the Buddha similarly gave them a place to rest, yeah, meaning temporarily, yeah. So that's that liberation, self-liberation, and then leads them to enlightenment eventually, yeah. Then it says, as many as atoms in all worlds, 48, sorry. So then it's almost done. Ooh. Yeah. As many as the atoms in all the worlds within the sphere of the Sugatas, however many there might be, for that many eons you have entered the enlightened state. Yeah. But this secret of yours should not be developed in words. Yeah. So that's for us important to contemplate sometimes, the vast amount of lifetimes the bodhisattvas engage in various practices in order to achieve enlightenment. If you understand that vastness, then little problems in life or difficulties becomes nothing, right? Yeah, so if you read the King of Prayers or read the sutras of the Buddha, of the Buddhas, in many of the sutras the Buddha talks about his previous lifetimes and various hardships the Buddha underwent. There's a purpose that the Buddha explains that in the sutras, right? Yeah, there's a purpose, so that's important to read and understand. Yeah. As long as, next verse, as long as all beings have not gone to the state of supreme peace, and as long as space itself remains, there's this verse also by Shantideva, where His Holiness often uses, right? How can there be an entry into the supreme peace for you, conqueror? You were brought forth by the mother of wisdom and nourished by compassion. Yeah, so as long as space remains and sentient beings remain, until then I want to remain to eliminate the suffering of sentient beings, right? Yeah. So the same thing. Yeah. So don't ask me today the question if there's an end, okay? Yeah. Yeah. So it just says as long as space remains and as long as sentient beings remain, right? Yeah. The extent to which, next verse, your compassion towards worldly beings, being who freed or poisoned food, become because of the defect of their ignorance of sentient beings, such is not found even in the plain pain of a mother whose child has just consumed poison. Yeah, sorry, it's still there. It's just a dry cough left, but yeah, it's just still there. What to do? To their unskillfulness in being cling to notions of thing and non-thing, so grasping or adherence to inherent existence, and by that creating karma and afflictions, and by that creating karma, and by that you cycle around, yeah? Which gives rise to the pains of birth and destruction, and loss and gain, wanted and unwanted. Yeah, so we know we have the various 6 types of suffering, of birth, sickness, aging, and death. Yeah, and then what it says here, loss, gain, wanted, unwanted. Yeah, meaning you have to experience things you don't want, like family members who die, or suffering experience. Yeah, and not meeting the things you like to meet. Yeah, and never find what you're looking for, as we know, right? Or never finding satisfaction in samsara. Beings also fall to evil destinies, yeah, lower state of rebirth. So this world finds itself within you. Then, through your compassion, blessed one, you turn from peace and forsake your nirvana. Yeah, meaning abiding nirvana. Yes, we know the 2 extremes of the Buddha is free of the 2 extremes of samsara and nirvana. Yeah, samsara and abiding nirvana. This system has been explained. Oh, that's already the end. By the monk Chandakirti, yeah, the great master of ancient India, yeah, drawing from the treasure of the Middle Way, that means the treatise of the Middle Way, that is Nagarjuna's fundamental wisdom. Yeah, we know Chandakirti refers to the treatises, yeah, on the Middle Way, yeah, Uma Tenje, we say. So that is referring to Nagarjuna's supplement, Kasa Nagarjuna's root verses on the Middle Way. In perfect accordance with the scriptures and in accordance with oral instructions. Yeah, so that Chandakirti analyzes the text based on, after Nagarjuna was Buddhapalita, and after Buddhapalita was Bhavavika, and Bhavavika criticized Buddhapalita with various interpretations. So Bhavavika was more or less, you could say, the starting point of a distinction that later was being called the Svatantrika, right? Yeah. And well, the 2 Svatantrika schools, and then those who follow the sutras, right? Yeah, the sutra school. In perfect accordance with the scriptures and in accordance with the oral instructions. Yeah. Just as outside this tradition of the treatise, yeah, referring to Nagarjuna's fundamental wisdom, no scriptures set forth this teaching as it is. Likewise, the system found here is not found elsewhere. O learned ones, be sure of this fact. Terrified by the blinding color of the utterly vast ocean of Nagarjuna's wisdom, some have shunned and kept their distance from this most wonderful tradition. Yet moistured by the dew, these stanzas opened like in the buds of water lilies. Thus the hope of Chandakirti have now been realized. Yeah? So Chandakirti, it says, some have shunned and kept their distance from this most wonderful tradition. That means that, as we know, Chandakirti in the beginning of the text, it is called supplement. Sometimes we translate it as supplement to the Middle Way, sometimes we translate it as entering the Middle Way, and sometimes people translate it as introduction to the Middle Way. So, introduction to the Middle Way, I don't really understand that particular translation term, but entering the Middle Way and supplement to the Middle Way, there's a reason. Why is there a reason? Because in all the commentaries, particularly in the Guru tradition, the commentaries we use, it says, as we remember 2 years ago, you remember? Yeah, so Chandakirti enters Nagarjuna's fundamental wisdom from 2 angles, right, of 2 aspects. Yeah, one aspect is the profound, and the other aspect is the vast. Yeah. So the one aspect of the profound is, of course, the profound aspect of emptiness, and he doesn't enter it like other scholars of the past have done, but he enters from the point of view of making a distinction between Chittamatra and Svatantrika and Prasangika. Yeah. So that's kind of a unique way of entering the profound aspect of emptiness, as Chandakirti is doing by making distinctions between those schools of Buddhist philosophy. Yeah, of making distinction between the Chittamatra, Svatandika, and Prasankika. So that's the way Chandrakirti enters Nagarjuna's fundamental wisdom from the profound aspect. That's one way of entering, or supplementing, you could say. Yeah, so that's why some people translate as supplementing to the middle way, right? Yeah. So that's one aspect, but also from the point of view of the vast aspects. Yeah, we know that Chandrakirti enters the middle way, thesis, the Nagarjuna's fundamental wisdom, by taking things from Ratnavali, taking things from another text by Nagarjuna, which talks about the grounds and paths, as we see in the last, especially last few evenings, as the various grounds are being explained, and those are not explained in Nagarjuna's root text, right? Fundamental wisdom, the grounds and paths are not explained. So Chandrakirti explains that as well. Yeah, and then takes that from Ratnavali, and then enters or supplements the Nagarjuna's fundamental wisdom. Yeah, so that's kind of how. But we talked about the title, right? Entering or supplementing the middle way. So the middle way is not just the middle way. Yeah, when the title says entering the middle way, it doesn't mean the middle way in general. It means Arya Nagarjuna's root stances on the middle way. Yeah, so that's kind of what's referring to the middle way. Yeah, the treatise, the middle way, the treatise on the middle way. This suchness, verse 55, this suchness just explained is most profound and terrifying, yet people with past habituation will certainly realize it. You see? Yeah. So you will realize it. Others, however, despite vast learning, will fail to comprehend. Yeah, so, and that means if you now, although you study much, but you cannot completely comprehend, then you create causes in the future to go to the first line, right? Yeah, that you have past habituations, and then you will certainly realize it, Thus seeing, and that's very important to understand. Just we don't understand the effects because we don't see cause and effect relationships in karma. We don't have the clairvoyance, but it's very true. Just hearing about emptiness, studying about emptiness, the best way we can, then that has incredible consequences in the future, right? To one day completely comprehend and realize it. Yeah, you put imprints in your mind. Yeah, those imprints are never lost. They remain, and they increase. And then, next lifetime you meet again, and activates, and it becomes easier. And then I said, a few lifetimes, and there you go. So that's important to understand, right? That just the wisdom from hearing, according to the Jataka tales, can never be stolen away, right? So that means you have these incredible jewels in your mind, that nobody can take away. Yeah, so that's amazing. Yeah, they will come to ripening. That's for sure. So even if next lifetime is a bit difficult here and there, or a few lifetimes a bit difficult here and there, these imprints will come to ripening one day, right? Yeah, so that's quite amazing, Yeah, if you then make strong prayers, then the ripening effects will even become stronger, right? Yeah, and rejoice. It's quite amazing, to all of you sitting there here and sitting there online and doing this for the last 2 years, and quite a few of you did. What did we do before? We did a few other courses, right? Yeah, when? On Wednesday evening. I don't remember anymore. Yeah, there's more coming up, but I'm not tell you yet. Yeah. Last week also I said there's something coming up. Anyway, we're thinking to do something else. Yeah, continuation of the Wednesday evenings. Yeah. So maybe we were thinking to do Lama Tsongkhapa's special insight section, but then because if we do 2 years, then maybe we do calm abiding special insight over 2 years. Yeah, because calm abiding is also quite important. Yeah, and Lama Tsongkhapa's great exposition is a very clear presentation. And then, what else do you want? Then the special insight section of Lama Tsongkhapa's great exposition, right? That's kind of, a very profound aspect, because that's the direct instructions Atisha and Manjushri, right? That Lama Tsongkhapa had his doubts here and there, we should write it or not, and then was directed by Atisha and Manjushri to actually put it into words, So it's very precious. Yeah. And many masters of the past, then when they went into retreat to realize emptiness, they mostly depended on the great exposition, right? The special insight section. Yeah. That's also the text His Holiness brought with him to India, right? When he was escaping from Tibet. Yeah. So the Lama Tsongkhapa's great exposition is just a kind of masterpiece, Yeah. Okay. So, so then after that, one day you realize, right? Then the imprints planted. Did I read the last 2 lines? Yeah. Yeah, and then it's kind of a dedication. Is it? Oh, I'm already on the last page. I thought there was more coming, but that's it. May the merits of speaking about the excellent tradition of Master Nagarjuna extend to the edges of space itself. Yeah? May such merits shine bright as autumn stars amid the mind's sky, dark by afflictions. Yeah? So brightening everything up. And through the force of having obtained merits, reassembling shining gem on the may the entire world realize suchness and swiftly travel to the Sugata's ground. Yeah, so the Sugata's ground, referring to the 11th ground, right, the ground of Buddhahood. Yeah, so that concludes the text. I think went quite well. On schedule. We kept things on schedule quite a bit, so that's very precious. Then, I don't know, when we do the transmission, maybe next year or something. Not the whole text, but the Madhyamika Avatara, that will take some time though. We haven't scheduled yet, but maybe. I just read a little bit from the beginning, just for auspiciousness, right? Yeah. Yeah, so the Madhyamika Avatara. Kya Gede Madhyamaka Avatara Nama Pugadu Umala Chubashi Yawa. Jambel Jinagubala Chaselo Net Sangye Dinan to Wangi Sangye Janju Sembe Latunji Ninjas and Danis Mevolo Janju Semni Gazan Namgi Gu Kanji Zini Gawa Loto Punzodi Sabundani Bella Juda Yurindu Longini La Member Tabu de Guba Deche Dagi Toma Ninju Tobaki Tambo Shiga Gala Shengju Jin Dagi Deshe Ngula Chageba Suje Chenta Rangwang Meba Yi Dola Ninja Gyugan Teladu Dowa Chuwa Yugi Dowa Yowa Chugi Nangi Dawa Tar Yodan Yodan Ranshin Nigi Tongwa Yi Gyawa Sebo Dei Sengang Dowa Namamba Dowa Jaje Ninja Wangyu Jin Gun Zambo Melan Rap Nova Gavala Ratu Nede Nada Neba Dini Tombo Shejao. So maybe then leave it there, and then maybe also a bit from the Kaza. The Madhyamika Avatara I received from many times. I thought also maybe from the Gomba Rapsal also received a few times. Yeah, a few times. I mean, once from Kushturimshe, and then we received many teaching, but then sometimes you miss a class sometimes. But then also received from the whole text from Kushturimshe and Gentubjerinchila. Maybe just the first page of the eliminating intent for auspiciousness. Lama dang kumpa je zanjang ba yang la cha sa jing gyab su jiyo dowa lama dunba chumten de loma uma zu je lu do yap se jo sangye kyang dang leg den da drag so chi wo yun de da gi gu ba ju gang zong Ganjong Dowa Lama Chen Rezi Tuje Namru rimpa junju nam dan lagba ten sing gyazo chokni gi gome nyamta gongzo jo nam no nam gyang zu je lagba jo la da da de ka ten sheme jine jo nam dan gang jong ge drup rimpa junam la tak de guba yigi chagyo de tar yo ge ba jen la tuba cha za nu de tang te de zuba ja wa ni pa yo gi lo ben chen po ben den da wa da ba ze be ten ju ma la ju ba ran del dan chi wa dan jang bo la ma zong ga ba jen bu o ma ze be na o ma la ju ba ya je ba gong ba la sen ha le ni re ma do. Sorry, something else. I'm just too enthusiastic to read things. Yeah. So I'll start over again, okay? Saying again, yeah, it's a bit strange starting this print. Sengye Tangbo Umar. Yeah, no, I found it. Umalaju Bekya Shi Gomparad Savajawa Jazan Jambo Yang Tang Baba Yaza Nangi Jaba Gube Jambo Jasa Chen Kyazu Ju Sajan Yaja Leisure Gungi de Jangun Gungi Gi mati zangye de sa sun do lam sa su do la lam sang sun pe mi tu wang ma wa ni ma tak de gyong ra jang ya wa ko de sa mo ne yang da bu gi dam de sing ya ra kun ne do la chun ba ma chi be dong be o la za jang be la ma tak de jing gi lop de sun de wa jak ba tu gi chu ta de ma ten jen del jung lang ji jin de wa lung den lu do bla ning ne du de ni ne du de je wa jo gyu sung gong je dang ba go ba da de je ni ge ji na ji ni ji gang do la sel ze be lai lang dun ba dam la wang do ba bel den ba da ba ba lai ja bla du Jazan Jamba Yangi Gadu Jin Baba Gomba Dadu Selze Tuba Rizin Negi Nizu Jezun Yu Sangye Kyangi Shapla Gunjaze Dogun Gada Jonsi Jembo Long Ludulugi Tumo Mai Minbe Ne Yonzu Zobe Tunze Nama Cha Chi Wa Lang Dang Jebe Sha Lang Du Ludu Bagba Lai Duba Ta Shin Da Jembo Sungi Da Wani Tumo Mai Ne Dun Gunzo Ba Dizun Ludu Migi Lai Tong Jin Joje Lude Jeba Deba Bo Jeba Jima Bagba Za Jedang Shengi Kugi Yonzu Da Chuni Uma La Juba Yaje She Jawa De La Sabadang Yaje Duni De ne ma lo ba ten la pa ten je jembo umla juba rangi da wa dang tu mon de chebla ji zengi dun gyu ge ja jung gi dun ju ge ju ba ho tang bo kya ge de ri shi gi ye ba la ba jawa jawa ke dun na. Yeah, okay, so then future life you can receive, or maybe this life. Yeah, the whole text. But yeah, maybe Umala Juba, and that was maybe planning to do next year somewhere. The Kasa supplement the root text, supplement to the middle way, and the Kasa Ambishmalankara. Yeah, that's two very important texts actually. So then maybe next next year for maybe a weekend day. Probably it takes quite a few hours, maybe a few hours. Yeah. Okay, that concludes, and then I don't know if there's questions or not. Is there questions? Then we can do a few questions. Yeah. Yeah, is it? Yeah.
We'll do in the Gompa first.
For a change.
So you mentioned tendency to recognize emptiness of self while continuing to grasp after consciousness.
Sorry? Oh yeah. If you, for example, realize only a coarse form of selflessness, right? Like the self-sufficient, substantial existing self. Yeah, it's kind of a coarse, according to Prasangika, a coarse form of a self. If you realize that aspect, according to the Svatantika school and below, then you can eliminate the root of samsara. Yeah, they say that self-sufficient apprehension of a self-sufficient, substantial existing self is the root of samsara. The Prasangika says no, because you can still. That's a coarse form of a self. Yeah, the self-sufficient, substantial existing self. And if you eliminate that, you can still see consciousness as inherent. And that's according to Lama Tsongkhapa's, that's what the other schools do, right? Yeah, they still. So if you still see consciousness inherent, then still craving and grasping can arise. Yeah, so then if craving and grasping arises, you can still be born in cyclic existence. Yeah, so you have to eliminate emptiness. So you have to realize emptiness. Yeah, that means emptiness of inherent existence in order to be liberated from samsara.
So is it kind of like transferring the identification from the being a phenomenal center? From being like a phenomenal center of consciousness to then sort of transferring the identity to consciousness as a whole?
No, it's kind of, consciousness exists, right? So, but we can still think that consciousness exists in and by itself. But if you look at consciousness in individual moments, you cannot find an in and by itself or independent consciousness, so to say. So, if you realize that aspect, then you start to realize there is no from its own side existing consciousness, right? And there's, the mere collection of moments, or the mere person exists, but we cannot pinpoint it. Yeah, so that's why we say consciousness is also just designation, based on the moments of continuity. There we say, oh, this is what I call consciousness, but we cannot find anything substantial, right?
Yeah. But, sorry, just to clarify, the difference or the way that one would continue to grasp after inherent consciousness whilst after recognizing emptiness of self.
Yeah, no, then you don't say the recognize the emptiness of the self, you say a causal aspect of selflessness. Yeah, like a self-sufficient, substantial existing entity that is in control over your body and your mind, right? So you see that does not exist. You realize that. If you realize that aspect, it's still a cause aspect, because you can still think your consciousness exists from its own side. Right. There's no independent kind of entity in charge, but you can still think your consciousness exists from its own side, right?
And the grasping after that is like identifying with that.
Yeah, so grasping at that consciousness can still cause rebirth in samsara. Right. Okay. So you have to realize that consciousness also is empty of inherent existence. And that's what the Prasangika school is saying. You have to realize that aspect in emptiness in order to eliminate samsara.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much, Geshe-la. Thinking about the Buddha's omniscient mind, and being able to see kind of the totality of causes and conditions, doesn't that then lead you to a place of predeterminism? Because, for example, the conversation about free will always comes up, and we say, oh, well, you've got, habitual tendencies to do one thing and habitual tendencies to do another, and it comes down to probabilities, but probabilities are only kind of deployed when a system is so complex that you can't really predict the outcome, but presumably the Buddha can predict the outcome. At any moment can know exactly what a sentient being is going to do at any one time. So don't we get into a place where there is no free will in the end, and actually everything is predetermined?
The Buddha probably knows if this person does this, then it will develop like that. If the person does that, then it will develop like that.
But the Buddha doesn't know what it will do in a particular situation.
You made a naughty question. Yeah, that's very, yeah. I mean, at a certain level, yes, probably. At a certain level, and that's why the Buddha, they proclaim that a person will achieve enlightenment, right? So at a certain level, it's more or less guaranteed, right? If you're on the paths, and that's why the bodhisattvas, they get this prediction, right? So for certain levels of development, it's more or less guaranteed, and that makes sense. If you're on the path, you know you're going to achieve that, and the Buddha knows the time and the place where it will happen. But I think for ordinary sentient beings, then the Buddha knows the various possibilities. If the person does this will happen. Person does that will happen. Right? And then you say, yeah, does the Buddha really know exactly the line from beginner's life to endless in time in the future, where that particular sentient being will end up or not? Yeah, maybe the Buddha don't answer that question.
Fair enough.
It's maybe the easy answer for me also. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Because, I mean, with free will also we say that it is within a particular boundary there is a kind of possibilities, right? So probably in those lines. So I think the Buddha maybe doesn't answer that question. I'm not sure.
Okay, I have a slightly simpler question. You also mentioned today that when a Shravaka enters the Bodhisattva paths, because they've already realized emptiness directly, they move quite quickly, most likely. But my understanding was that could it potentially take them quite long to enter those paths?
Exactly, that takes long, because it has to generate bodhicitta, right?
Right.
So that's the longest period. Once enter the path, then probably then it goes quite quick.
Right, okay, thank you. Yep.
But that's not clear in the scriptures, though. I just say, yeah, but yeah, it's just to enter that, because you have to take them out of meditative absorption, let them realize compassion and bodhicitta, right? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you. Just a little one, because you said that imprints are not lost, but I have a very vague memory of you talking about how maybe realizations can degenerate or something.
Yeah,
so I guess
realizations and positive karma, you can take away the potential for the reason to come about, right? It can be destroyed, but imprints, they of positive or virtuous acts, they never get lost. The imprints of negative acts, in particular the imprints of ignorance, they can be eliminated with wisdom directly realizing emptiness, right? Based on bodhicitta. But for virtues or imprints of receiving teachings, that can never be destroyed. Yeah, imprints never is. It's just what we often talk about is the potential for the reason to come about. That can be taken away. Yeah? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's pretty good. No?
Did you have a question?
Thank you, Geshe-la. My question is, so this evening, in some of the verses, Chandrakirti actually talks about the tenderness of the Buddha, and it was actually very moving to me. And so, like, he's gone in my mind from being very matter of fact, a debater, very mind, less reason, to very warm. Has he written anything in a more poetic form or anything more related to the tenderness of the Buddha and the kindness of the Buddha? Is there anything by him?
Chandrakirti, he wrote a text on refuge. There are things, and then also on the Gyu Samaja system. That's very inspiring work, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, Chandrakirti has more than just this text. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Tara?
And in the sixth cell is also the clear words. There's this Chandrakirti has two texts on Nagarjuna's fundamental wisdom, right? So this is kind of an overall explanation from those two angles, yeah, the profound and extent and the vast. In the clear words is word by word translation. So then when Nagarjuna talks about the Buddha, and then also then, but I don't know if that's translated in English, clear words. Yeah, I have a translation, an old one, Mike gave me actually. But yeah, from one particular university professor or something, I think, from Sanskrit. Yeah. But the clear words is very similar, not the same, very similar to Lama Tsongkhapa's Ocean of Reasoning. It follows a very similar, you can see Lama Tsongkhapa was drawing from Chandrakirti if you put those two texts next to each other. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Terrell.
All right, you can hear me? Yeah, okay, so you can't hear me, you're not sure you want to hear my question, I can tell. So, Gala, thank you so very much for these teachings, magnificent, we're very, very lucky and rejoice in all the merit you created for us and sentient beings. Okay, one simple question and then a few simple questions about the verses.
A few?
We just tell there's quite a few people, so if you can just ask one so we can...
No, I was going to teach you and say, so what about the end of samsara, but you told us not to ask. So after that, with respect to then verse 11.48, if I may, the last line, the last line that I have on this version says, but this secret of yours should not be divulged in words.
The secret of yours should not be divulged in words, for the many years have entered the light state. So what does that refer to, your question is, right?
Yes. Is that a reference to right in general emptiness cannot be right?
I mean, not
described, but I wasn't sure in this context what was being.
Yeah, it's probably referring to the the aspect of this inconceivable points or not?
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. I have to look in the commentary. Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm leaving it there for other people to have fun.
Okay, that's it? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not it. But I'm stopping. Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay, B.
Hi, Deshra.
Hello, Deshra.
Inside section of Langring, please. That's what I would vote for.
You vote for what?
The inside section of Langring.
Okay.
That's what I would vote for.
You vote for?
Yeah, but that's not my question. 7 years ago, I think this is a suitable question for this last resultant chapter. 7 years ago, I was quite surprised when somebody explained to me there is a distinction between Buddha and Arya Buddha. And they explained the reason why.
Buddha and Arya Buddha.
Yeah, Buddha is permanent because part of it.
Arya Buddha is a person, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Whereas Arya Buddha is referring to the person like Sakyamuni Buddha, and that is permanent.
Yeah.
So I never questioned it until lately, because we do not make the distinction between like an actual cat and then a cat that is permanent, because
An actual cat?
a cat or a dog or a person.
Yeah, but this is different because Sangye, Buddha, Sangye, takpa yinte, yeah, kyola taguni kichayo bishers. Meaning the Buddha is permanent because it has a permanent aspect, like the Dharmakaya, the natural truth body, right?
But
And the Arya Buddha is referring to a person, and a person is impermanent. It's not a big deal. It's kind of just...
But a person, like Arya Buddha, also has emptiness of the whole person.
But
so
that's referring to the person, the Buddha, where the other one is referring to the bodies of a Buddha. There's a difference. It's just how you define it. It's not some philosophical kind of importance to it. It's just how you define it, because Sangye is referring to the bodies of a Buddha, and that includes a permanent aspect, and that's why we say the Buddha is permanent. But then the person, the Buddha, is impermanent because it's a person, or the Arya Buddha.
So when we use the word Buddha, we are referring to the collection of the Buddha Aryas.
Yeah, exactly. And then the natural truth body is there, right? So that's a permanent aspect. So then there's a debate, then a Tagochi, and you had that that what has the aspect of permanent and impermanent together, then that's called permanent. For example, if you say impermanent, so if you say is whatever an existing phenomena, is that necessarily either permanent or impermanent? Then you say normally yes, right? Whatever exists is either of those two. And then you say, okay, permanent and impermanent.
I understand. It's kind of arbitrary.
Same thing. So no, there's the same debate. You say impermanent and permanent, those two, is an existing phenomena. What is it? Is it impermanent or permanent? Let me say it's permanent because there's a permanent aspect. So similarly, the Buddha is permanent because it's referring to the bodies of a Buddha, and one of those bodies is permanent. It's just a debate, kind of, I would say, rule. Yeah, no big deal.
I know it is very arbitrary. When a collection has permanent and impermanent, we say that it is permanent. It's an arbitrary thing in our system.
If it exists, right? Yeah, it has to exist also. Yeah.
But I still come back to my original question. Why make the distinction of a Buddha that is like that and an Arya Buddha that is impermanent? Because if we look at any phenomenon in the world, they are empty. So they have emptiness that is permanent. So if we use that logic, there's a way to argue that all phenomena in the world, each of them are permanent.
Yeah.
I mean, not as a collection, phenomena, but like a cat is permanent, a dog is permanent, me is permanent, because there's part of me that is permanent.
Yeah, if a cat is permanent, everything is permanent, right? Kan je mijn kat zeggen?
But we obviously don't do that, but why do we do that to the Buddha?
It's just because we refer to, when we say Buddha, what does that mean? That means the bodies of a Buddha, right? Yeah. How else do you describe Buddha? So then it refers to the bodies of the Buddha, and one of the Buddhas is permanent. So then we say the Buddha is permanent.
Actually, until somebody told me that whenever I use the word Buddha, I think about Buddha as in Sakyamuni Buddha, a person.
Yeah. Then it's different. Then it's not permanent, right?
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Welcome.
Okay. Nidhi?
Yeah, that verse is not very well explained. That verse 48. So yeah, Nidhi? Yeah.
Thank you, Vishwa, for kindness for transmitting and explaining the whole text to us. I would have been able to get except for your kindness. I tried to find the biography of Arya Nagarjuna and like some prayers.
Biography?
Yeah, and prayers for Arya Nagarjuna. But I haven't been able to get anything more than half a page, and the prayer is mostly from 16, that's what His Holiness has written. Do you have any reference?
Arya Nagarjuna. I mean, biographies, they are a little bit more elaborate, but the most elaborate I've seen in English is the one in, I'm not sure, that's all I saw. Yeah, because there's a lot of debate, there's a lot of research done regarding Arya Nagarjuna, when he was born, and because there's different, some people say there's different Arya Nagarjunas because he lived for a few hundred years, and so yeah, there's research you can find. Right? Yeah. But it's all bit debatable aspects, because it's quite a long time ago, right? Yeah. And then, because our prayer, Guru Yoga or something.
No, any prayer is big. Most of the time we only find one stanza dedicated to Arya Nagarjuna, but there's like a full prayer.
We know that, we have the different praises, that Nagarjuna wrote, right? So that's kind of one way it can be seen as a prayer, right? But I'm not sure if there's other prayers written by Arya Nagarjuna. No, I don't know.
So you're referring to the praises by...
Yeah, that's mostly how we define the three types of scriptures Arya Nagarjuna wrote, right? We have the 6 collections of reasoning, yeah? The fundamental wisdom is one of them. And all those 6 are based on reasoning, and then there's one, Dole Kunundun Duba is kind of compendium of sutras that Nagarjuna proves that his 6 texts on logic and reasoning is not his own thing, but all comes from the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras. So that's text number, 7. And then you have a collection of pit instructions, like the letter for a friend, for example. Yeah, that's kind of a Lamrim instruction, or the commentary on Bodhicitta, right? And that's the second group. And then the third group are these praises, right? That the praise of the Vajra mind and Dhammadhatu and more transcendent, and yeah. So I don't know if there's other prayers compiled by Arya Nagarjuna. I'm not sure. Oh, prayers to Nagarjuna.
Yeah.
Ale. I mean, you have a few in the commentaries, in the beginning of the commentaries. But that's mostly one verse or so, right? Yeah. Mostly one verse, I think. Also in the Hayagriva cycle we have, because it also came. Yeah, this is also very short. There's not very long prayers. No. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You mentioned Guru Yoga. Is there a Guru Yoga in relation to Nagarjuna?
Could be. I'm not sure. Yeah.
There's a question in the chat as well about chanting the names of Manjushri. If there's a commentary on that text in English.
In English? I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, I'm quite a kind of hermit type, reading only Tibetan stuff. In the last few years, I started to read things in English and things like that. But I don't know. In English, I'm not sure. In Tibetan, we have many. But yeah.
Chris, did you have a question? Do you want to ask it? You put your hand down, but I want to check because maybe you're just being shy. Yeah, I've asked to unmute if you want to say it.
It's really just maybe some help in terms of trying to integrate theory and practice within the tradition. Because there's this wonderful rational explanation of conditioned existence and a very scientific, rational deconstruction of reality and false conceptions of reality. And then there's a body of practice that is very much evoking imagination and faith. And in some ways it almost seems that that's it's a mind that is another superimposition on emptiness. How can the more imaginative aspects be integrated with the hardline, rational analysis and vinyata?
Yeah, so that mainly refers to the wisdom from hearing, the wisdom from contemplation, and the wisdom from meditation, right? So what we study, initially we have to gather the information or the knowledge, right? The intellectual knowledge. And then you sit down and analyze it. Yeah, so same with how to recognize objective refutation and then how to refute it with the various reasons. Yeah, you initially study it and then you sit down and you check it out. How does it appear? And then where is it? Yeah, with the reasons of identical with or different from or dependent origination. Yeah, and then you just sit down and analyze it. And then eventually in the contemplation you will produce a kind of insight or understanding. And then when that insight understanding is being generated, then you focus on that for some time with concentration, right? And then that will develop eventually, that process, of studying, contemplation, meditation will develop in an experience, and that develops eventually in a realization. Yeah, so that same thing as we see the great masters of the past, including Lama Tsongkhapa, including His Holiness Dalai Lama, They study these texts again and again, receive instruction on it again and again, and at the same time, not at the same time, but the same day or the same period, they also contemplate and sit down and analyze, And that's when you read a text like this, because in one way, there's a lot of practical information in there, with the 6 perfections and particularly with emptiness. So then the best way to do that is just read, if you have the commentary, just read half a page or a page and then sit down and meditate on it, And then you move in that way to the text. Then you get not just intellectual understanding, but you get the real experience over time, right? Yeah. So that's kind of what we do in these evenings. We just go over and that people get information. But actually, if you read a text yourself, then you should read it very slowly and analyzing, rather than just gathering the intellectual understanding. Yeah. So that's what His Holiness once praised when a few people were geshes and they didn't have much work to do. They were just in the monastery. And then His Holiness asked what they do and how many pages do you read a day? And then one geshe said, I only read 2 or 3 pages a day. But he was sitting down and meditate on it. Yeah, and then you produce the wisdom from contemplation and the wisdom from meditation, right? Yeah. But initially you have to have this one aspect, you have to have this intellectual knowledge. On top of that, if you study a classical text, as even Lama Tsongkhapa was advised, right? It carries the blessing of the author, And then especially if you have transmissions of it, so then you study it, you read it, and then because this author has realized it, it carries much more blessing in your contemplation. And that's exactly how Lama Tsongkhapa realized emptiness. This first experience of emptiness was reading the first verse of Nagarjuna's chapter 18, right? Yeah. So then you can see that these authentic teachings, they're very precious, Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Okay then, my friends here and online, see you soon. Yeah.
There's a few formalities, I think, Geshe-la.
I go in hibernate mode in certain parts of the world, and then see you soon. Yeah. And then maybe dedicate. Yeah.
Hang on, I think Venerable Drama, do you want to say something now?
Okay, we do formalities. People online, formalities. Yeah.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Because today is the last day, and because we've been unbelievably fortunate to receive these teachings for the past 2 years, I'm actually going to invite a few students to share in their own words. And so first, I'm going to invite Daniel, who I believe is online. I did see you, Daniel. Yep. Go ahead, Daniel.
Thank you. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, very well.
Okay, thank you. Geshe-la, thank you really very much. I must say, I really mean it, because this text first kind of showed me how the vast and profound aspects could be so tightly linked together. I couldn't believe how much. And also, my personal impression, I need to go through this your lessons again.
Yeah, probably.
Probably not only once. Yeah. And I like it so much. So, if I could ask you whether you could continue in such kind of teachings of these texts, which are with no question so difficult, impossible to read through without teachings and explanations, that would be, at least for me, extremely helpful. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your effort and study. Yeah, and the one who sits next to you also, and the intro behind you or something. Well, no. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel.
And then next, Genla, I'm going to pass the microphone to Venerable Konshuk.
Who sits in the back.
Sits in the back.
So now he's to turn the camera on himself.
Yeah, I know, I do. Don't worry, I won't be long. I just on behalf of the students again, just to thank you and say, it's impossible to really express the depth of the gratitude that I'm sure we all have in putting these incredible imprints in our mind, all the stages of the path, the grounds of the path to enlightenment, that as you reminded us will definitely bring a result. And again reminding us how precious it is and how fortunate we are. So just please continue to teach and have a long life, so that you can continue to guide us in this and all future lives. And I'm sure all the students feel the same, that obviously this text goes all the way and teaches about Buddhahood and an omniscient mind, which can feel far away. But sometimes, or when you're teaching it, it feels much closer. So thank you for your dedication and decades of study and transmitting that to the West in such an eloquent way that suits our disposition. So skies of gratitude.
Thank you. Yeah. That's it?
Not quite. Thank you, Venerable. That was beautiful. So, Genla, we wish you a wonderful break, a wonderful retreat, and we want to again extend our deep gratitude. And the fact that there are students, this is not an easy text, and you unpacked it, you helped us enter into relationship with the text, and the fact that the students kept coming back week after week, month after month, in 2 years is, I think, a testament to how effective you've been in your teachings to help us connect with that profound text. And as Venerable Konshuk says, that is the result of your own dedication, devotion, and effort over several decades. And so for that too, we're profoundly grateful. And so I just want to read, we're going to do the dedication, but it's so beautiful, and I appreciated your question, Laura, because it's very moving, but I'm going to read the very last verse as a dedication. May the merit of speaking about the excellent tradition of the Master Nagarjuna extend to the edges of space itself. May such merits shine bright as autumn stars amid the mind's sky darkened by afflictions, and through the force of having obtained merits resembling a shining gem on a serpent's hood, may the entire world realize suchness and swiftly travel to Sagata's ground. And so we sincerely make this dedication of the merit of these last 2 years of studies and effort of your teachings and the students' practice, and also very sincerely dedicate to your long life, Geshe-la.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
And then, of course, students here and online, we want to extend our heartfelt thanks for your questions and your attentiveness, and those of you who are online, because we see you on the screen, we really feel your presence, and we really feel the level of dedication. And so from our side, we want to sincerely rejoice and sincerely thank you, because as Geshe-la shared, and this was the scoop of the day, next year we will start in a 2-year series on calm abiding and special insight. And so this is definitely a dependent arising, and it's thanks to everyone's dedication that that's happening. So I really, it's very inspiring. And this morning, because today's the last day, I was thinking of Shantideva's advice of when you embark on something new, consider really carefully whether you can bring it to completion. And the fact that we brought this to completion and that we've been on this journey for 2 years and we did the last verse, the last page, gives a tremendous sense of confidence and courage that we can then apply to the next text and the next journey. So from the side of the team here, we want to thank you all. And very lastly, I want to thank the team. I want to thank Venerable Wang Yao, Venerable Konshok, Freddie, Paul, Jess, Zola, all the trustees, just everyone that's part of holding the center and keeping the activities going and supporting Geshe-la. And so we are lucky at Jamyang to have a phenomenal team. And so you guys are amazing. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, thank you, team. Yeah, we have an amazing team. And yeah, thanks to them, everything goes very smooth, including Kunchok's high-tech kind of aspects. Popping up all the time in the wide array. Yeah. So yeah, thank you and for the team and all the volunteers and everybody who helps out with Jamyang in whatever means, dedicating their time or financially or whatsoever. It's all to the kindness of many people, right? It's not just a few of us. So it's a kind of a whole team and a whole kind of community that makes this happening, and including all the students who are so dedicated. And then also I'm very happy because it's good to do. I'm a traditional person, as you know, and it's good to do things in a traditional way. And if there are students who seem to think that's beneficial, then we have a good program. So yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Wonderful, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. So then we dedicate, or so when dedication, then think also according to the last line, last verse of Chandrakirti's text, right? And then to that all beings may realize emptiness based on the realization of bodhicitta, and all obstacles to be eliminated, and and that long and healthy life of precious gurus, in particular His Holiness Dalai Lama, long and healthy life, and all His Holiness wish to be spontaneously fulfilled. And all other teachers who teach the true path to enlightenment also be of greatest benefit. And swift return Kapti Lama Zopa Rinpoche and Teacher Rinpoche also to be of the greatest benefit for the Buddha, Dharma, and sentient beings, and all obstacles for that be spontaneously removed. And all sentient beings progress by realizing bodhicitta and emptiness on the paths without obstacles being eliminated, and eventually, by dependence on the virtuous friend, lifetime after lifetime, be guided and quickly achieve a state of enlightenment. And I think you making dedication and the results of the dedication are in the nature of dependence, and that's exactly why they empty of inherent existence and why the results will come about. So take that into account, then we can dedicate.
Sajibki Jojimeto Jamiralenji Nindegempati Serapten Chinam Katrin ge padam lo san tempe drume sasunge droem setate Negyuchi dam guru ranamanda kamneratame Dagi jine sape gewadi tenandroa kuna gampenda Gepa jisun osandra pai tempe nimpo rindu sajeshon Gare rawe korwe jinkam so pendan dewa malu jumene Chenre zinwan tenzin gasoi sape site badu tengyuchi Homage to Manjushri, the youthful, in this way to the awakened one, the transcendent Lord, the wisdom Kaya, spontaneously arisen, the single eye of wisdom, entirely unobscured, the light of wisdom forever shining brightly. To you, Adapasana, I pay homage. To you, the very embodiment of wisdom, I bow. Thus is explained by all the perfect Buddhas. This concludes this teaching spoken by the transcendent Lord Shakyamuni, the essence of the perfect recitation of the names of the wisdom being, the transcendent Lord Manjushri. Tu tenji danjam gyunge ten cho gyo bella kachirab zupa Sunden yu mizim pa chu kinje dadra tempe pel du nyu junshu Janshu senshu rinpoche magye panange gyuchi Gepa nyampa mebaya gone konde pewa sho toni tawa rinpoche magye panange gyuchi Gepa nyampa mebaya gone konde pewa sho And as long as space remains, as long as migrators remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the suffering of migrators. May the King of Dharmas and Kappa's way of Dharma practice flourish. May the omens of obstacles be pacified and all conducive circumstances be complete. Through the power of having made single-pointed requests to you, Losandropa, may all unfortunate manifestations of a degenerate age, illness, famine, quarrelling, epidemic disease, Gara spirits, interferers, and so forth be pacified, and may excellent collections of conducive conditions increase. Please bless me that my wishes be swiftly fulfilled. By invoking the power of loving kindness and compassion of Chenrezig, and through the force of making extensive prayers, may all sickness, war, fighting, and famine be completely pacified, so that beings have long, healthy, and happy lives. May the glorious Guru's lives be long and stable, and may all beings equal in the extent of space have happiness. May I and others, without exception, accumulate merit and purify negativities, and may we be blessed to quickly attain Buddhahood. Kyewa kundu yada lama dan dreme chuki pala lo chuchi Sadan nangi uten rabzu ne doje changi gupanyu tu sho
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, see you soon. Good night. Yeah. Hearts, yeah, these days they fly over the screen. Yeah. Before it was just in the image. There's a new feature. Yeah, oh, a new one, look at that. Fireworks. Okay, good night. Yeah. About hearts exploding.